Throwdown Nation, it is Monday night. We are live. We are currently streaming on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. And we are here with episode 37 of the Throwdown. And tonight, my guest is Georgia-based wrestler Edward Draven. How you doing, Edward?
I'm good. How you doing?
I cannot complain, man. It's been a good day, and it's going to be a good night.
I'd love to hear it. I'm excited. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So we'll go ahead and get started, and we'll start with the first and most obvious question, and that is, Edward, how long have you been wrestling?
I've been wrestling since February of 2022.
Okay, so a little over 2 years. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Who actually trained you?
Oh, so originally I was trained by AR Fox at the WWA 4, but now I'm training at Platinum Championship Wrestling.
Nice, nice. I've heard good things about the WWA 4. I've definitely heard that AR Fox puts out some quality folks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, oh yeah, like there's some insane talent out there coming up out of there.
Well, we're going to go ahead. I had told you beforehand that we would do the speed round game. So speed round.
Okay.
Ethan Page.
Ooh. Arms.
Arms. Okay.
Yeah. Ethan Page arms. Yeah.
Okay. So as far as the initial part of your training went, what would you say was the most challenging part?
Oh, I came straight out of the pandemic, heavy. So my cardio was not good at all. I remember getting gassed so quick. Like things that I look back at now, I'm like, I could do that. But looking back at my old matches, I got gassed super easy. My cardio was atrocious, which I was in a tag team so they could cover that up a little bit, but now I'm by myself. I had to get that together.
Yeah. Yep. So what did they do to help you with your cardio? Just make you run, make you do the bike? What'd they do?
We did drills and training, which obviously helped with like conditioning and cardio, but I took that into my own hands of starting to do little walks or runs and going to work out on my own and not just that training. So it got better from there.
Gotcha. So have you been a fan of this stuff pretty much all of your life? Or what is your earliest wrestling related memory?
Yeah, I have been a fan all my life. I used to watch with my cousin William and my dad. We watched all the time growing up. Like even as a child, I don't remember. But I feel like my earliest, I remember being at a SmackDown and the Undertaker had returned and like chokeslam CM Punk through the table. I was like, what? Like that I knew right then. I was like, I have to be a wrestler. And since then, it's stuck with me. I've always said I was going to be a wrestler, and we're here now. Yeah.
Gotcha. So Taker putting Punk through the table was the point in life where you knew you wanted to do it.
Yeah, I knew I had something like, oh, I have to be on there one day. It seemed like Tori Wilson. I was like, oh my God, like, geez. Oh, but that right there cemented. I had other things I wanted to do, but that right there cemented that I was meant to be a wrestler. Seeing that, I was like, hearing the crowd go, whoa. I needed that. I was like, I need to do that myself. That was the moment right there.
Gotcha. Speed round. Kazuchika Okada.
Oh, strikes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Strikes.
Yeah, absolutely. Never having been a wrestler, to me, one of the things that looks like it is one of the worst parts about being a wrestler is taking chops. I mean, you see those guys, and at the end of the match, their chest looks like raw hamburger.
Yeah. Oh my God. Oh, I've taken a lot of chops from a lot of strong men, and I don't run from them. That's one thing I pride myself is I never run from a chop. But I've been chopped so hard that the chair that I was sitting in broke.
Oh
Like
wow.
they sat me down in the chair, just started chopping me, and the chair collapsed. Yeah, my chest was definitely multicolored after that.
I'm sure. I'm sure. Well, have you learned to dish out the chops?
Oh yeah, now I can. Oh yeah, now I just had one of my opponents I've had recently tell me I was not expecting that chop from you. Like my ears were ringing. I was like, you weren't expecting that chop from me. That's why I had to do it to you. I think I'm a little weakling.
You had to show them.
I had to show him better than I can tell him.
So, away from wrestling, what are some of your hobbies and interests?
So I actually am an actor. I'm represented by McCray Talent Agency. So I do still love acting for commercials, movies, projects that I'm working on that you can see me in sometime soon. I definitely love acting. I feel like I went into acting for wrestling to become more out there and to get a character. When I was in like 5th grade, I knew I was like, okay, these guys act like this. How do I act? But now I feel like I've kind of fell in love with it myself. But wrestling is my main baby. But acting is still has a little space in my heart.
Gotcha. Is there anything out there that we can see you acting in on YouTube or anything like that?
I actually filmed a series with my friends called The Progenies, which you can catch on YouTube. You may see me in CW Legacies. I have also another short film coming out on the way that I'm really excited to come out there. I haven't acted in a minute. I've been giving myself to wrestling for the past 2 or 3 years, so it feels good to get back in front of the camera. Even like hopefully on some stages for some plays. I was a big theater kid too, so I can't wait to get back to that.
Nice. Nice. So, is wrestling anything approaching a full-time thing for you, or do you have an air quotes day job?
Yes, I do. So wrestling is something that I would love to pursue, but the travel and gear costs. So I'm definitely in
Hmm.
school working and stuff, trying to get my stuff together. So hopefully one day I can do this 7 days out of the week.
Very cool. Very cool. Speed round. Tully Blanchard. That's an
Trail,
old school name.
yeah, I, Trailblazer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Trailblazer.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
I thought you said somebody else. I was like, huh? Okay.
No.
Yeah.
So you said that currently your hometown is Conyers, Georgia. Is that pretty much where you've grown up, or are you from somewhere else?
Well, I'm actually from Cleveland, Ohio.
Oh wow,
Yes, I
that's
moved here
cool.
in 2014, I believe. So I've been here half. Yeah, so I turned 22. I've been here since I was 11, so I've been here both half half.
Nice, nice. So what would you say was your favorite thing about Cleveland?
I, family. That's about it. That's all that's there. Really for me is family, and that's I like I actually do like this. You live in Georgia, so you can understand. I
Yeah.
miss doing real seasons, divided seasons.
Mm-hmm.
Tell what the season is by looking outside, not just heat and then freezing cold and then back to heat. I miss the leaves falling, the snow. I miss
Right.
different seasons and seeing, just I miss walking in snow. Also, we have a lot more sidewalks because we can actually walk places up north.
Yeah. Yep. So, what's your favorite thing about Conyers?
It's remained to be seen.
Okay,
It's just a lot to
fair
choose.
enough.
I like about Conyers. My favorite thing about Conyers that I like is that I'm close to Platinum Championship Wrestling, so I can train. I'm less than 20 minutes away. That's the best thing so far.
That's a good thing. How did speaking of Conyers, how did you cope with that chemical plant thing recently? Even as far away as we were, it smelled like a swimming pool. I can't imagine what it was like being in Conyers when that happened.
So I actually used to work there, and I left
Really?
for yes. I've actually worked at BioLab. I did work there, and I actually left because of the chemicals. People complain, and you smell it, and there were there weren't like adequate like safety precautions being met and stuff, and it was not a fun environment to even work at. So when I came home from training, and my mom's like, "Oh, but your old job," and I was like, "What about it?" And she was like, "It blew up," and I was like, "That as crazy as it sounded, and like seeing the smoke out of the sky, I wasn't surprised. I was like, the place was gonna blow up sooner or later."
Wow. Wow. Stories like that really make you realize what a small world it is. I mean, and actually talking to somebody that had worked there previously, that's really cool.
And I didn't
So,
realize how big it got until I looked on Twitter and I see people who don't even live in the States tweeting about a chemical plant. I'm like, oh my God, you guys like know? I was like, yeah, that was a crazy experience working there. I'm happy I got up out of there because
no doubt, no doubt. So they say that the best wrestling personas are yourself turned up to 11.
Mhm.
So tell me a bit about in ring Edward and kind of compare and contrast him with everyday you.
My friends will tell you this. So Edward Draven, the character, is so
Hmm.
larger than life, flawless, very flamboyant, very out there, very sociable, and or I'm not afraid to say what I want. But me as a person, I'm not speaking. I'm not like if it's me and if it's me and my friends, will. But if I'm in public, I will literally sit there. I won't say a word. I'm very reserved. I'm very. If someone says something I don't agree with, I'm just like okay. But my character is like, no, you idiot. And I'm not on that level every day, and I think it's because I'm the oldest. I always like look after my little siblings. So like wrestling is the little time I do have for myself. So I can be so over the top. But at home, I'm like, nah, I'm fine. It's too much excitement for me.
Gotcha, gotcha. But it's like you said, it's got to be a great outlet, to kind of let that side of yourself off the chain, on the weekends.
Yeah,
And
it's so much fun. It makes me feel like a theater kid again, really. Because that
yep,
was the first time I got to like enjoy myself and put myself out of my comfort zone. And I feel like a lot of people are so serious, but I love the crowd likes more like stuff that they can interact with, but that's why I'm like that too also. So times 10, because I know the crowd comes to see a show, they don't just want to see some regular guys, they want to see like a star. So I'm like, okay, let me turn this up times 10.
gotcha. So tell us about your very first match. What was it like? How did it go? What were your thoughts going into it and your thoughts coming out of it? All of that stuff.
I was 3 months in when I had my first match. I was 3 months in. I
Oh wow.
was it was Alonso Garcia and the Offside Heroes versus me, Giovanni Rain, and Zamir Zuriel. And I got my ass beat. Like they really did me in. Like I had no idea what was going on, and I was obviously bigger, so I was gassed like the third minute. And they really took care of me. Like I'll always sing the Northside Heroes and Alonso Garcia's like praises because they really looked out for me, especially when I first started, because I didn't know what I was doing at all. But they always took care of me. They always made sure like I looked good. They made sure my stuff looked good. And I'm just like forever grateful to them because I go back and watch that. I'm like, oh my God, like, oh, that's terrible. Terrible. That's horrible.
Gotcha. Speed round. Randy Savage.
Oh, charisma.
Yeah.
Charisma. That's one of the guys I study for charisma to show it in different, see how many different versions of myself I can come up with.
You know, my best friend from college and I, we communicate by texting each other video of Randy Savage promos. I mean,
Actually,
the guy has a promo for every occasion.
my friends, the twins, well, not my friends, I don't like those skanks. The H-Town Hitters, they're a group of wrestlers, and their dad sends me funny Randy Savage promos. I love it.
Gotcha. So we've heard about your first match. Now tell us about your favorite match that you've been a part of.
Ooh. Recently, I had a match with one of my good friends, Kaizen Hot Boy. He's on an upcoming episode.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, that match was just a lot personally for me that I was very happy about. And I'm so psyched. Like, we've been friends for a minute. So for him to have his moment and to bring all his people out, that moment really touched me. Or my match with Najicism, that's also one of my favorite matches recently. Because I got to show, like, being a character individual, they really overlook how you perform in ring sometimes, but I've always wanted to be the best of both. So I really felt like I got to showcase my abilities in that match a little better than I have before.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm actually trying to get Najicism on one of these, so hopefully sometime soon I can manage to get together with him and get him on the schedule.
I don't know why you would want to do that to yourself. It's very obnoxious. But hey, if that's what you want, I'm so sorry in advance.
So, what percentage of matches that you have been in would you say that you largely work it out with your opponent in the back, and what percentage do you actually call it in the ring? And do you have a preference between those two ways of laying out a match?
That's a very interesting question. I just feel like maybe it comes with experience. If I'm with somebody who's my vet or somebody who's been doing this for a minute, I feel more comfortable. We can do this in the ring and we can talk it out. But if it's someone newer or someone who I'm not that familiar with or who I really don't feel the chemistry to do that with, I prefer to call the match because I want us both to look good. It's not just about me. It's about you looking good too. We both can't look stupid. You can do that by yourself. But nah, I always want to make sure everybody gets everything that they want to get in the match while looking flawless.
Gotcha. Well, you know, this probably doesn't apply to you, but I'm going to ask it anyway, just because it's one of my newer questions, and I just think it's kind of a cool question, and that is, if you worked in other countries or cultures, how would you handle language barriers when interacting with the fans or your opponent?
Ooh. That's a great question. If they don't have anyone who speaks English or who could translate, I feel like you can feel someone's emotion or you can feel, while not being able to understand, because I don't speak Japanese, but when I'm watching Japanese wrestling, I'm still feeling like the gist of it and on Kuduru for us. So I feel like that's why like your emotes on your face facial expressions matter, body language matters so much, so they can pick up on what you're talking about or what you're trying to put out there for them to receive. So I feel like that is definitely how I would communicate.
Right, right. I mean, wrestling is kind of a universal language anyway, you know, so
Definitely.
that's really one of the beautiful things about the art, you know, and it is art. I mean, no less than any other type of performance. So if you could only be one, would you rather be great in the ring or great on the mic?
Oh, that's the right question for me. Okay. Because I pride myself on being good or trying to be good at both. That's a good one. I would probably say good on the mic because I feel like there are a lot of wrestlers who are great, but that are great at wrestling, but they can't connect with the audience due to, I don't want to say bland personality. That sounds rude, but not being able to, you know, to connect with the audience because their character isn't really grabbing them. But I feel like if you're a great talker, you could probably get ahead in a, because everybody is a great wrestler. Like you can teach anybody how to be a great wrestler. You can't teach everybody how to speak.
Right, right. You know, it's what you were saying about, you know, great in the ring, but lacking somewhat in the you know, in the character part. You know, a good example, and I mean no ill toward him, is Ricochet. The guy is amazing in the ring, but you put a microphone in front of him, and it's just not usually that compelling.
But he is like,
Oh,
I feel
yeah,
like
he's
he has the move set to. He doesn't have to say much. Promise you.
no, he doesn't. He
He doesn't have
doesn't.
to. Like, just let him do
But
his thing. But I also feel like when you do your thing, that's when you should know what you're good at and keep doing that. So you don't have to find yourself in an uncomfortable position to be exposed for some of your weaknesses. Yeah.
absolutely. But you know, somebody like Will Ospreay. I mean, he has the in-ring ability and he's got the gift of gab. You know, so somebody like that can almost write their own paycheck. I mean, you know.
And that's what I'm trying to be like.
Yeah, absolutely. So, what would you say? And you know, you haven't been doing this that long, so this may not entirely apply. But what has been the strangest encounter you've had with a fan?
I remember being in a tag team. It's not mine, but I used to be in a tag team, and there was this woman trying to like hook my tag team partner up, and he was like 26, 27, with like her 17-year-old daughter, 16-year-old daughter, and we had to block her. It was really weird. But I think mine, I've having groped a couple times. That's always uncomfortable. So that
I'm
makes me,
sure.
yeah, I'm definitely uncomfortable. I'm not a fan of being touched, but I think those are my craziest experience. Nothing too much. Thank God. No, I'm knocking on wood. They get weird around here, but nothing too wild yet.
Gotcha. Speed round. Orange Cassidy.
Cool.
Yeah.
Mellow.
Yeah, I dig that guy because really it's a very unique persona in a business where it's hard to be entirely unique.
Yeah, it is. It is. And I love that. Even with his character, how cool it is, he doesn't have to say much. He does not have to say much. And
Right.
that's one of those things, like it's different layers and different fields out here for anybody, because obviously when you're thinking of great character, you're thinking, oh, great might work, but not necessarily the case, which I really like. He found his own little path.
Yep. So, do you have a preference yourself between working heel or babyface?
So if you would have asked me this a couple months ago, I would have been like, oh, I love being heel. I hate being babyface. but I feel like it's easy to get heat. I've been recently learning more and learning how to get the crowd connected to you and how to draw and work the crowd and connect with the
Hmm.
fans. And like starting over from my basics and the development, like starting over from like the basic foundation. And I've learned that I love being a babyface. I love being a babyface. It can get a little, "Oh, I gotta get beat up or oh, blah blah blah." But there's nothing more magical than like seeing people or hearing people chant your name. There's nothing like it. I'll have to go with. I haven't been healed in a long time though, but I'll go with babyface. I'm gonna go with babyface.
Gotcha. Gotcha. It's it's funny, as a fan, I tend to find myself gravitating more toward the heels. I've just always found the heels to be a more compelling character type because, usually there's a reason why they are the way they are, and getting into the backstory and everything as to why they're doing what they're doing. I just find really interesting, and I mean sometimes you get that with the faces too, but it's you usually get more of a why with the heels, but
Because I feel like a lot of baby faces are just like, "Oh, I love this business. It's been my dream since I was 5 years old, and I love these fans," and that's it. So I feel like if
yeah,
people add a little more to their baby face character, the
exactly.
it's just
Then they'll be a little more compelling,
yeah,
you know.
yes.
So can you share an example of a time when you had to completely improvise during a match?
Oh my god. Yes. Oh my god. Okay. So I was in a trio and one of my partner wears a wig. And so my opponent had Velcro shoes. So my partner's wig gets stuck in the shoe and snatches completely off. So I had to tag in and we just had to work the whole match on the fly. Improv. And but before that, they threw me the wig and I put it on and I did like a little Maurice moment. And that was like, sort of like a little improv to make the crowd be like, "Oh, it's a part of the show." But I was pissing in my boots because I was like, "Oh my god, this is
I'm sure.
that was great."
Oh, that's great. But, the show must go on.
It must. I can't freeze. We have to do something.
So, in terms of your in-ring work and your promos, who or what would you say are some of your influences? And it can be other wrestlers, it can be pop culture, any of that. What has made Edward Draven Edward Draven?
Okay, so for like character work, I've always been proud of not using too many wrestling inspirations because I feel like it becomes generic. I feel like it becomes I've seen this before and I don't want to be anything anybody's seen before. So I always take character inspiration from I I always say bitchy girls that I used to go to acting with. Like I used to be in acting with. Regina George, that Anna Faris from Scary Movie. Anything that I can get my hands on that's like so over the top or Paris Hilton or something like that. I always use for my character. But also for my wrestling, I do use diva moves like a slap or a cartwheel back elbow. But I've also learned, I've been working on mixing it with lucha wrestling
Hmm.
and stuff that I've seen in New Japan and trying to come up with like a new style or type that's just for my character that and on anybody else you would see them like, huh? But when you see it from me, you're like, oh, okay, I get it.
Gotcha. Yeah, I've been lately. I've been going down the rabbit hole of watching Lucha Underground, and I'm still in the first season. I'm just about done with season one. But interestingly enough, my previous guest. I don't know if you've watched much Lucha Underground, but my previous guest was Marty the Moth, who was on Lucha Underground, and that was actually a really great conversation. And just the way that show presented wrestling was just so cool and so different. So
Yes, I did catch a little bit of it. I love Carly Perez, her as a valet, and it was amazing. Her heel work, because she didn't really get to show a lot when she was in NXT and WWE, but her in Lucha Underground, I really enjoyed her work. And that's another, I like to look at people's characters for a bit. I tend to feel like sometimes the wrestlers who get looked over for not being the best wrestlers, they have a really great character and stuff that they've said or stuff that they've done. I'm like, I like that.
yep. So, do you have an all-time favorite match as a fan? A match that you can watch it a million times and it never gets old, and there's always some little nugget that you can glean from it each time you watch.
Yes. I love Jeff Hardy's last match in WWE against CM Punk. I watched that all the time. Sasha versus Bailey NXT Brooklyn Takeover. I watched that all the time. I watched Sasha and Bianca at Mania. Those are some matches that like give me goosebumps. Or like maybe a Royal Rumble that's very legend heavy because you get the chills of whoa. Those are ones that I can watch all the time.
Gotcha. I'm going to pass one along to you. It's an older match, but it is a master class in storytelling and ring psychology. And I think you can probably find it on YouTube if you look around for it. From 1989, from a Clash of the Champions episode, Terry Funk and Ric Flair in an I Quit match. It is amazing. So seek that match out and watch it, and you'll thank me.
We'll do.
So, speed round. Ace Austin.
I'm not familiar. I don't think I'm familiar.
Okay, yeah, he is. He's in TNA currently, and he's in a tag team with Chris Bay. I don't know if you're familiar with him.
Yes, I am.
Yeah. They're in a. They're both Bullet Club members, and they're in TNA right now, and they've got a tag team called the Ace and Bay Connection, or the ABC.
Okay, I've seen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's see here. Okay. So who would, and this can be present day or past, who would be a dream opponent for you? Who would Edward Draven love to work?
Ooh, these are good. Okay, Ashton Starr. I would love to wrestle. Ashton Starr, AC Mack, or Effie. Those are my three right now. I love all of them, and I feel like that would be magical. But Ashton Starr is the one that I'm really wanting.
Very cool. So you're a young guy, so this may not apply all that much, but I'll ask it anyway. And that is, what hurts right now?
My back from carrying the character work of the Southeast. I'm just fine. Like nothing hurts. I've been very blessed and I have been injured, but no, I'm in absolutely no pain. I had to get into stretching though. I was having a bit of like back pain, but I'm stretching. I've been stretching always. I mean, since the back pain incident, and now I feel fine. So I've been blessed. Nothing hurts.
Good. Speed round. Abdullah the Butcher.
Oh my gosh. You're just talking about intense.
Yeah.
Intense. You're just talking about it.
I remember seeing him as a kid, and he and another guy, Kevin Sullivan, both scared me to death. When you're 11 years old, Kevin Sullivan and Abdullah the Butcher are scary dudes.
They were like your Undertaker and Kane of being like, ah.
Kind of. Yeah. Yep. So let's see here. Okay. So what are your thoughts in general on the current state of the business?
I'm loving it. I'm loving there's so much opportunity out here for everybody. I feel like everyone has somewhere to go. Their communities are helping out no matter who you are. I feel like wrestling is so broad now. And it's not only just, oh, I watch WWE anymore. It's not even just I watch WWE and AEW. There's so much good indies out here everywhere. So there's
Oh
always new
yeah.
stuff to be discovered. And I love that because I fall in love with new wrestlers every day. I'm like, oh, I like them. Or making or meeting new people in the scene. That's what I love the most. I'm loving it right now. I feel like it's hot.
Gotcha. It is, and not that I've ever really cared that much about this, but it's actually cool to be a wrestling fan again. I mean,
Yeah, people hit me up all the time. Friends from acting, I'm like, "You're doing wrestling? That's so cool! I want to go." But a couple years ago, like wrestling. What are you like 10? I'm like,
yeah,
it's cool now again.
it is. It is, which is nice, but I mean, but I never really cared,
Yeah, I don't
you
know
know.
like it anyway. They always thought I was gonna grow out of wanting to be a wrestler, and it's never happened.
But it's funny, my wife is anything but a wrestling fan. And for years, she never got why I love this stuff as much as I do. But since I started doing these live streams and she's been watching these, she now understands why I love it, which is really cool, I mean, she's still probably never really going to be a fan, but she at least gets why I enjoy it the way I do. And so I consider that a victory. And honey, I love you.
Well, you gotta show her some Kelly matches so she can become a fan.
Yeah, I could do that. So, what is your take on the role that social media plays as a promotional tool in wrestling?
I feel like it's very beneficial. I really do because I feel like some people you can obviously pull up in person to shows, help out, and I love that. I always will continue to do that. But I feel like social media has such a big outreach. You never know who you're going to connect. And I've been blessed to find my niche of people who really like my work. And I've been booked through new promotions from just using online stuff like Twitter, Facebook. And I wouldn't have gotten those opportunities in person because obviously there's somewhere else. But I feel like you never know who's watching. And I always take that to my advantage.
Exactly. And social media was how I found you. So,
Yes,
I mean,
like this. You get on your social media and post.
speed round.
Mm-hmm.
Charlotte Flair.
Woo! Okay, that's not mine. Iconic. Like when you speak of someone who has the character, the in-ring, the look, the everything, that you can't not mention Charlotte Flair. She's been the top of the women's division since she popped out. And I know there's a lot of like people get annoyed of seeing her over and over, but it's just like who can top her? Like who are you gonna get to go put somebody against her? I mean, it's either their character is not on par with her or the in-ring isn't on par with her, which is already hard to beat. I'm so excited for when she comes back. I was blessed to actually help out with her year a little bit at WrestleMania Dallas. So yeah, I'm a big fan. Love her.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Well, you're still a comparatively pretty young guy, but knowing everything that you know now, if you could give any advice to your younger self, what would it be?
Don't be in no damn group. I'm just like, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Uh, I would say, I wouldn't change anything. I would say do exactly what you did. I wouldn't change anything. I feel like everything that I've been through, like both good and bad, has helped me be with who I am today. I would say stick up for yourself a little more. Don't let people play with you. Like, don't be afraid to burn that bridge if you need to. I'm not saying go and burn bridges now. I'm just saying know when to walk away and when to not tolerate disrespect. So that's one thing.
Yep.
For myself.
Yeah, I guess It's like Kenny Rogers said, know when to hold them, know when to fold them, know when to walk away, and know when to run.
Yeah, because I used to let some stuff slide, and I think I should have. There are times I should have definitely spoken up for myself, but we're here now.
Yep. So, do you have any advice for any young folks looking to break into the business?
Yes. Please, 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 please have a character. Please, I cannot stress this enough. Like I've been to shows where I came in getting squashed in 2 minutes or a minute, and just my character alone got me over, and now I get to main event. I get to meet new people and travel and get new opportunities. And because you become marketable, please do something different. I don't care what it is, just do something that's gonna help you stand out and be different. Because there's money in difference. Really, please be different.
Absolutely. So, do you have a favorite move, something that you just really love to do? And on the flip side of that, is there a move that you won't do or you would rather not do? And that can be taking or receiving. I mean, giving or receiving. Yeah.
um, so I love to do. I've fell in love with doing lucha. I've been training in lucha for a couple months now, so I feel like I've been more comfortable on the ropes and hitting crazy moves that I absolutely thought I would never. I'm horrified of heights, by the way, so I've been having to push myself. But learning how to do any type of lucha moves where I can use athleticism, I always love doing something like that. But a move that I wouldn't like to do, a Canadian, I feel like it's so. I feel self-explanatory. I'm like, oh, you want to do a Canadian? Cool. Like, there's nothing wrong. I'm not scared to take it or give it. I'm just like, why? Like, what is that with the story of our match? Like, will that help us stand out? Or if we're like, oh, hell yeah, a Canadian. And who else is going to do a Canadian that night? So that's one of those things I'm like, do we really need the Canadian? The only Canadian we need is Trish Stratus. Thank you, Trish.
So, do you have any pre-match traditions, rituals, superstitions, any things that you do consistently before you walk through the curtain?
Vomit. I'm always horrified. Like before a match, I am always nervous. I have such stage fright, and I know people say they wouldn't know that from my when I go out there, but behind the scenes, I am a nervous wreck. And my hands are sweating. I'm vomiting. I'm like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. But when the music hits, I'm like, okay, everything's fine. But that's what I got to do, vomit before every match because I'm always nervous. Always nervous.
Gotcha. Speed round. Sabu.
Ooh, Kendo Stick.
Yeah.
I remember watching him at like 5 years old take that back and like wham Kelly in the forehead with it. And I was watching her talk about it in an interview. He was like, "Oh no, it's just gonna be a little boop." But in the actual match, she like leaned that thing back and let her have it. That's I don't know why every time I think of him now, I just see him taking it to little Kelly.
Gotcha. So, something that we've done in all of these, and it's just been kind of fun, is we've let the current guest pose a question for the next guest. So, a previous guest, a guy named Ashton Adonis, posed this question, and that is, what would your dream venue to wrestle in be? And what is your favorite venue that you've wrestled in so far?
Gosh. Madison Square Garden, baby. Like that is the dream. That is the dream. Or maybe like the old ECW arena. I don't know. But so far, I just one that stands out amazingly. I got to perform for OWA last year for a Fight for Pride in Ohio. And their venue, the way they just decorated it and had different layers of like seats go all around in circles. It was just beautiful. It felt so like non-real, especially going to like different territories and seeing their venues. I'm like, oh yeah, I love it.
Gotcha. And so, since this is part of a series, do you have a question that you would like to pose to the next guest?
Yes.
Okay.
I would say, would you rather be over and popular with a gimmick that you absolutely hate? Or would you like to not be over and nobody likes your work and your job in with a gimmick that you absolutely love?
Oh, that's a great question. How would you answer that?
Give me the one I hate. I'm an actor. At the end of the day, if that check is clearing, I'll do whatever you need me to. Thank you. Look, this is a TV show. As soon as the cameras go off, I got that money. I'm fine. They pay very well. That I would take that one.
Gotcha. So we're getting toward the end of things now. So do you have any upcoming shows or anything at all that you'd like to give some hype to?
Yes, I do. I'm actually booked this Sunday, October 20th. I Turn the Page, baby. I'm going to take that King of the Party Championship away from J. Alpha Miller. So you should definitely be there to see your boy win his first title. We're claiming it. We're going to do it. We're going to receive it. That I'm so excited about that. I've been ready for that one for months.
Absolutely. So do you have any words for your opponent?
You know what's up. That's all I'm gonna say. He knows what's up. He actually attacked me last Friday because we were supposed to have a match, but he's a coward. He's scared every time he's in the ring with me. I mean, I don't blame him. I'm Edward Draven, the father of Flawless, putting on the Flawless Foundation every Friday. But this Sunday, you can't hit me from the back. There's nowhere for you to run. I'm taking that championship away from you, and that's a flawless fact, baby. I'll see you there.
Nice. So that, like I said, we're pretty much at the end of things. So, Edward, I want to thank you for your time. This has been an absolute blast. And, for those of you that have been watching this live, thank you. For those of you that'll be watching this on replays, thank you for that. If you like what we have going here, definitely spread the word. This thing is really taking on a life of its own. I'm having a blast doing these. Got a bunch more scheduled. As a matter of fact, tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Eastern, I've got a wrestler from Florida named Chris Carnage. He's also a podcaster. So we're going to be talking tomorrow night at 7, and then Wednesday night at 7:30, I've got a guy who is a veteran of both TNA and the NWA, the outlandish Zicky Dice. And then on Thursday, I've got a wrestler by the name of Money Making Che Guzman. So I've got a full docket this week. I'm live Monday through Thursday, and so it's going to be fun. And I've got several more that I'll be announcing in the coming days. So keep an eye on my socials. And like I said, I'll be back tomorrow night at 7. So